So I want to talk to you about some language you're going to encounter on test day for the AP Lang exam. As you know, the AP Lang curriculum was completely overhauled this past summer. Not only do we have new rubrics and new standards, but they also guaranteed us some consistent language within the actual test prompts. And because the College Board is playing catch up to coronavirus and administering the test online, that common language was not shared with teachers until last week. It doesn't really influence what you write about or how you write. I think it honestly just clarifies what they are expecting. So you're going to see, just like I have up here on the screen, the very similar to typical contextual information about the passage that you read for the exam. One thing that has been floated around is that because they are concerned about plagiarism and cheating on test day, they may not give you the name of the writer or the title from the piece that the excerpt is from. So if you read the prompt and you're like, who wrote it? Don't stress about that. Okay. Just call them the speaker or the writer and you'll be fine. But the additional piece that you're going to see on the actual rubric is going to be this bulleted list. And I wanted to talk to you about that because it's just a little different from what the sample prompts we have been looking at over the course of online learning. So the directions are going to say, in your response, you should do the following. Respond to the prompt with a thesis that presents a defensible position. This is why it's so important for you to acknowledge not only the techniques, but also the purpose behind the techniques within your thesis statement. If you do that, you will check off this bullet very easily. It also says provide evidence to support your line of reasoning and explain how the evidence supports your line of reasoning. This is really important because before we left for online learning, I talked to you about how your concluding sentence for each body paragraph should really connect back to your thesis in a sentence that is similar to ultimately this proves that, or this is an example of so-and-so trying to motivate his audience to do blank. But that is how you develop a line of reasoning. So you have your thesis, which is this is what the writer's trying to do and why he's trying to do it. And then for each body paragraph, you explaining like this is how it's working and this is how it connects back to your thesis. If you do that, you will have established a line of reasoning. And then the last bullet is using appropriate grammar and punctuation and communicating your argument. Here's the thing. Let's say that you forget a comma, you misuse a semicolon once or twice. That's not a big deal. What they do want to make sure that you are doing is that you are spelling correctly, that your subject verb tense is sophisticated and accurate, that you are editing your work. So for test day, since many of you are going to end up typing your essays, it is really easy to fall into the trap of editing as you go. I would suggest what you do for the exercises that we work on this week and as we prepare and get closer to the exam. Practice typing, reading the prompt and typing in about 35 minutes, and give yourself 5 to 7 minutes of editing time. Because you can type on a Google Doc, you will see that little red squiggly mark and all the suggestions that it will make. Give yourself some headspace to actually go through that at the end. Like you should just type and type and type and type and type without really focusing on those edits. And then edit at the very end to help you achieve that last bullet. So that's the language you're going to see. Obviously, I don't have a prompt that reflects that language because the language was just shared with us last week. But I wanted to just make sure that you were aware of it. That way it wasn't a surprise and that you knew what you needed to do to achieve the expectations on each of those bullets. All right, as always, let me know if you have any questions, and I will do the best that I can to answer them.